All right, Teresa, let's kick us off.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone. It's very exciting to see everyone showing up for our webinar here about our capacity building grant. We're going to take just a few minutes to talk about what we are thinking in terms of capacity building, give some examples, and I believe Leslie is going to go through the eligibility sheet, the first page of the application, and then we'll have some time for questions. So we're excited that you're all here. So I hope everyone had a great experience at the grants conference. And one of the benefits, again, of our partnership with the Children's Trust and some of the other funders that we've had over the years here that have really promoted the C&E process is that we do have a small amount of money that we can use for capacity building grants for those organizations who attended the conference. So in terms of what capacity building means, because of course these are small $5,000 up to $5,000 grants, we're really having you look at things that right now no one else is covering, or you've got a shortfall that can really make your program stronger, better, have an opportunity to maybe take the next step in a service or a program. So some examples of things that we were thinking about is, hey, we need a new server so that we can increase our capacity to have our database, do our mail, those kinds of things. We would really like to subscribe to some materials or trainings for our staff or board. We need equipment for our program that we really want to expand or we need to replace because it's old. Program supplies, consumables for a specific project that you're working on, that maybe you have more students in the project or there's increased demand and so you need more supplies. If you have a contracted staff person, for example, a therapist or an evaluator that you'd like to bring in to help make your program stronger. If you need to update your website or have some marketing materials created, those would all be examples of things. Of course, that's not the extensive list, but those are all examples of things that would be considered capacity building under this particular project. So I think I'm going to turn it over to Leslie and let her share her screen so we can go through the application.
Yep. Here we go. So Nancy will walk us through in a few minutes about how to get onto the Community Foundation grant portal. But just wanted to share, if those of you that haven't been able to log onto the portal yet, here are the eligibility requirements. You can see here that it's open for a little more than a month, closing on October 15th. And then from here, your eligibility, you must be a 501c3 nonprofit. You do have to be registered with the IRS. You have to be in good standing with the IRS. You have to be based in or serving North Central Florida. So those that the funds that you're asking for has to be to serve this community. And then again, you have to have a verified profile in the Philanthropy Hub. Other quick things, we decided sometimes it's helpful to know what you can't use the funding for than what you can. And so you'll see here things that the funding is not eligible for. And most of this language here is standard for most community foundation grants. So if there's any questions about this, please feel free to reach out to us. And we'll maybe pause for a minute, see if anybody has any questions about what Teresa talked about or the eligibility before we get into how do you apply. Feel free to raise your hand or unmute.
Can a portion of your request go towards salary?
Salary would be yes, absolutely. Just understanding that this is a one-time grant. So, you know, we don't want to have you hire someone based on this, but if you've got a person that you would like to supplement, absolutely.
Yeah. What about if it is a staff member that's already there?
That would be preferable. We wouldn't want anybody to hire someone with a $5,000 grant. But if you've got someone that's there that you'd like to cover salary for so they can maybe expand some hours, that would be wonderful.
Thank you.
And again, the Community Foundation doesn't have a cone of silence, so feel free to reach out to us anytime with questions throughout this process. If you have questions about if you feel like would this be eligible, I don't want to steal Nancy's thunder, but I know she'll talk a little bit about how the Community Foundation uses community members to review grants. So it will be community members who don't have any conflict of interest. Some Community Foundation board members and committee members will be reviewing this. Staff never reviews grants here at the Community Foundation. So anytime we tell you, we kind of tell you based off of our knowledge of these reviewers, sort of what they're looking for, and what's something that they might perceive as being eligible or not. All right, well, we can keep asking questions, but I think maybe we'll move on, and I'll pass it over to Nancy Parks. She's our Donor Services Director here at the Community Foundation, and she is going to be our go-to person for anything when you're applying for grants. And so I'm going to pass it over to Nancy and let her share her screen and show you our grant system and how you would apply for a grant. Nancy?
Hi, everybody. Just before I show you the portal, just to piggyback some general things about applying for any Community Foundation grants. As Leslie said, we have community members serving on boards and committees who review grant applications. So that is never staff that's making those decisions. So we're happy to, help you fill in the blanks or understand things better. And we're not in any kind of position to be making decisions. They're open to all nonprofits. And there is no membership in anything required to apply for any Community Foundation grants. So we offer some different aspects of what we do with Center for Nonprofit Excellence and other things like that. But there's no such thing as a membership with the Community Foundation. All grants are open to all nonprofits. So let me share my screen. Some of this will be familiar to people who have applied for grants with us before, like Women's Giving Circle, or I hate to trigger all of us, but ARPA. ARPA went through this portal as well. We're not going to talk about that though. But let me show you from the beginning, just in case you have never done this before. Okay. All right. Is everybody seeing the Community Foundation's homepage? Okay. The place to start is cfncf.org, which is the Community Foundation's homepage. You will go to login here. You will go to My Grant here, and you will get a screen like this without my login information autofilling. At this point, if you have an existing login that you have created before to apply for something, all you need to do is log on or forgot your password. If your organization is brand new to the grants portal, you're going to start here, which I will show you in a minute. If your organization has worked in this grants portal before, but you personally do not have a login with your email, at that point, you need to contact our office, and we will create a profile for you attached to your organization, because what we don't want are multiple organization profiles, if that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, you can reach out to us. You can call the office. You can email us. We'll put our information into the chat. But that has to be done manually on our end if you want to be a new user on an existing organization profile. But let's pretend that I am brand new here and I'm going to create a new account. Going to take you to this page. This is pretty self-explanatory. This is your organization's name, information about you. This is where it can get a little bit confusing for some people. If you are using the EIN of University of Florida or Santa Fe or School Board of Alachua County, a large organization that might have different people applying in different ways, what we want you to do right here is just put all zeros, because we don't want all those profiles together, if that makes sense. Again, if you have questions about this, reach out to us. The rest of it is it's self-explanatory. If you put in your EIN of your organization, you fill out this and you click next, and it's not the zeros, but you get a message saying, don't go any further. Your organization already has a profile. Don't go any further. Your organization already has a profile. And at that point, reach out to us and say, hey, I'm Nancy Parks. I work with the Community Foundation. I want to add a login to the Community Foundation's existing profile. This is the main organization contact. In the next step, you will put your contact as a user. So those may be different, and that's fine. Then it will ask you a couple of other questions about who's in charge at your organization, and it will have you set a password. I'm not going to go through all of this right now. It's pretty self-explanatory, and you can always reach out if you have questions. Once you're logged in, the first thing you will see are any open grants on the home page. So that will jump right out at you. Once you have submitted or drafted an application, you're going to see those on your dashboard on your homepage. So you can always go, as soon as you log in, you'll see that dashboard and you can continue working on an application. You can save drafts, and that's fine up until the time you submit it. If you submit it and then you realize, oh my gosh, I forgot to add whatever, just reach out to us. We can move it back into draft status for you. It's a hopefully pretty friendly system. The other thing I wanted to point out, once you start an application, you may want to collaborate with other people in your organization on that application. You will see in the upper right, when you're working on an application, a collaborate button. And as long as that person also has a separate login in the system, you can hit that button. The both of you can work on the application at the same time. So that's a lot of information, I know. What questions does anybody have? All right, I did a good job. Nobody has any questions. I will put oh, good. Leslie put office in the chat. I will also put my direct email in the chat. So if people have questions, reach out. That's all I got. Thank you.
Excellent. So thanks, Nancy, for walking everyone through that. Do we have any other questions about potential projects, any other clarifications that anyone needs? Again, this is a pretty simple application. We did not want you to work very hard for a $5,000 grant, but wanted to make sure that everybody had the information that they needed. So we'll open it up. Okay, see a few hands. Brent.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to ask about potential. I saw, of course, not event sponsorship, but if we wanted to use the grant to, say, put on an event, like to thank our volunteers and incorporate the kids we serve and things like that, would that be acceptable or no?
So I guess you would have to make the case on how that's going to help build your capacity.
Right. Thank you.
All right, Shireen.
Is there a set number of grants that you guys will be awarding?
We hadn't had a distinct number. We're going to see how many applications we get in and give away until we run out.
Thank you.
All right, 1,000 Voices.
Hello, thank you. I had a question. I was doing some reading a couple of evenings ago, and I noticed something that was talking about a religious lean towards the program. That's not what we have with what I would be applying for, but we are a faith-based organization. So will that make a difference?
No, faith-based organization. Well, Nancy had her hand up. Let her answer that too.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that you asked that. We do get that question pretty regularly. It's fine if you are a religious-based organization. Churches are eligible to apply as well, as long as what you're applying for the grant for is not an activity that is based on any kind of religious orientation or practice. So if you are a church that runs a food pantry that is not dependent on participation in any church services, that's fine.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Excellent. Jenny.
I just wanted to know specific counties served because we cover 13 counties, so just so I can make sure that we're adhering to the right rules.
So
Just Alachua?
we said the region, so Leslie, do we have a better defined?
So we don't necessarily define that. We would just say North Central Florida. And so typically how we would define that would be Alachua County and counties that touch it.
Perfect. Julie.
Hey, good morning.
morning.
So my question is really about like scoring criteria. Like I understand the eligibility requirements, what's not eligible, but is there a criteria for a preference for things that you're looking to fund?
Not really. I think what we wanted to do was leave it open to you all being able to define this is the capacity that we want to create or expand or enhance within our programs. And so what we'll direct the reviewers to do is really see how you've made the case and what you think this money could really do to enhance your programs.
Thank you.
Teresa, we had a question in the chat here that asks if more than one person went to the conference, but with the same organization, how many times can they apply for the grant?
Just once per organization.
Let's see.
Is it reimbursable? I'm sorry, I didn't raise my, sorry. Is it a reimbursable grant? And I have the question Patricia had, and when do you think that funds would be distributed?
So funds will be distributed in January, and no, it will be a single award. So you'll get the money up front, which hardly ever happens. Jenny, did you have another question? Okay, Emily.
Good morning.
Good
I
morning.
was wondering if there is any type of, if folks who are reviewing look to see if we've gotten previous grants from the foundation, and if so, if that scores us differently?
No, they won't.
Okay, thanks.
Caitlin?
Good morning. My question is kind of semantics, looking at the application. So there's two questions. Did someone from your organization attend the conference? And then the next question, if you attended the conference, have you completed an evaluation? Is that you, the organization? Because I didn't go personally, but my staff did, and they filled out the
Yes.
evaluation.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's you, the organization.
Okay. Thank you.
Great, quick clarifying question. Any other questions?
I have a question, Teresa.
Sure.
This is Cherie with the City of Gainesville. What sort of reporting requirements will be required?
That's an excellent question. Nancy, do you want to respond there?
Yes, thank you. I'm glad that you asked that. We will ask for some reporting, but it'll be short and sweet. We're not interested in taking up a lot of your time on reporting, but we would like to know what you end up doing, what kind of impact you make with this grant, so that we can convince future funders what a good idea this is.
Right.
But
so
I would say, yeah, I mean, probably depending on your time frame, 6 months in, a year in, it would be maybe a 1-page narrative report.
But if you do something cool with it, like, finish a project and take some pictures, that's always great. Or if you do hold an event where you're doing some training or capacity building, photos are always great to be able to share with funders. It really demonstrates the impact and tells your story in a really great way. So keep that in mind as you're planning and executing if you get the funding to take that photo evidence along the way. All right. Are there any other questions? Shireen.
So since we would receive, and sorry if this is covered somewhere else, but since we would receive the funds in January, then what should be the time frame of in which we're going to expend the funds? Did I phrase it correctly?
Yes. So really, it's when your project comes on board. Generally, we have a year to expend the funds, or, with reporting, somewhere between, as Nancy said, 6 months to a year, we would ask for a report back. So just thinking about as you're doing your planning, if it's something that you need, you get the award notice and you need to do it that day, that's fine. But you would, there would probably be within the contract for the award a timeline so that you know when it needs to be expended and when the reporting approximation would be due.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, our last portion is the Philanthropy Hub. Just the one thing people always ask is, how does the reviewer know about my organization? Some of you might be new in the community, might be a new organization. Some of you might have been around for a long time, but doing something new. And so the way that the Community Foundation and community members know what's going on in your organization is through the Philanthropy Hub. So I know most of this might be a review for some of you, and I promise to not spend too much time, but you do have to have a verified profile in the Hub to receive any Community Foundation grant. And so we want to make sure that you know how to get verified and what it looks like. Again, many of you on this call are on the Philanthropy Hub and you are already verified. My caution to you is please don't go into your profile and make yourself unverified by changing information before the new deadline. Again, Hub verifications will turn over November 1st. So those of you that are already verified, you are good. Do not go in your profile and start playing with things, because then you will knock yourself out of verification. And so information on how to get re-verified will be coming soon. If you are a new organization and you are not in the Philanthropy Hub, you will scroll down to about the middle of the page and you'll click Apply Now. When you click Apply Now, you'll search for your organization. You probably won't be there, and then you'll be able to click Apply to be in the Philanthropy Hub. Once you go to that step and you apply, from there, I always recommend that the next best step is to reach out to the Community Foundation to schedule a 15-minute Zoom call. That is the best step to do, is to reach out to us, and we will schedule a quick call to walk you through next steps. We can either do that in person or on Zoom is usually best, to walk through about how to get verified. I want to share with you what a verified profile looks like. I'm going to pick on my friends here, Aces in Motion, because they have a really great profile here. And you can see that as a user or as a grant reviewer, I'm coming to their page, and you'll notice that when you fill out your application, you have to put a link to your profile, your Hub profile inside the application. So that way, when the reviewer is looking at your application, they can click and learn more about your organization right there. You can see right here that they have the check mark. They are verified by the Community Foundation. They have general information about their organization. And then from here, there's 120 different reporting requirements. What matters to every person is different. So from here, I can see your overview, what your goals are, what your top 5 areas of need might be. And then I can also learn about how you're staffed. The governance tab, I can see who your board members are. If your board members have been through any type of training, I can see your financials that are pulled directly from the IRS, and you can see their financials are laid out right here in chart form and in number form for those brains that think differently. And then again, all about your programs, how you fundraise, and then the more details includes all your legal information. So again, we can talk more about how to get verified. I just wanted to share in case someone hadn't seen the Philanthropy Hub or what it looks like. I will say that if you are not verified, it takes anywhere from 2 to 4 hours to get verified, to complete all the information. And then once you're verified, it takes about 15 minutes a year to re-verify. You know, yearly you have to update maybe board members or your financials, anything that would have changed, new programs, anything that would have changed within that last year. So again, if you're not on the Philanthropy Hub, please reach out to us. We will help you get verified. Again, you can work on your hub verification and your grant application at the same time, as long as both are completed by the October 15th deadline. And we will work with you. We have more than a month, which is plenty of time to get you on the Philanthropy Hub. So please reach out. And again, if there's any questions, let us know. Somebody here, I think there's some more questions, Teresa, so we can maybe, what does it mean to include a link? So you'll see in the application, it's going to ask you, are you verified in the Philanthropy Hub, yes or no? And so hopefully you will select yes. And because if you do select no, you won't be able to continue on with the application. But if you say yes, you will be, you can provide a link to your page. So you'll take the link at the top of your Philanthropy Hub profile and copy it there. And that way it provides the reviewer a direct spot to view your grant.
All right. Carissa asks, is Santa Fe College eligible for this particular grant? I don't think that we said that you were not eligible. I think we just said that if you're applying under those EIN or tax IDs, that you just put the zeros in so that we aren't lumping you in with everybody else that would be applying from Santa Fe. So Santa Fe would be, as far as I know, if it's a program there. Is Levy County considered for this grant? Yes, it touches Alachua County, so absolutely. Any other
I noticed
questions?
on my profile under it says expired with an X by it. So tell me again how I schedule a time to get some help making sure all my updates are right.
Sure. I will put my email in the chat instead of the office. And so feel free to send me an email and we can get a meeting scheduled to go through your profile and make sure that you can get verified.
Any other questions that anyone has? All right. Well, as Leslie and Nancy and I have stated, feel free to reach out to us. There's no cone of silence. So as you're going through the process, if something comes up and you just want clarification, please reach out and go through that hub profile as soon as possible and make sure that those pieces are there and correct. And we will be, since we recorded the webinar, we will be posting this. So if you had to hop off or had a call come in, you can go back and review this information as well. All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of your Thursday and week, and we'll see everyone soon. Enjoy your day.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.